Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I want to participate in Shell's coloring journeys tag called the coloring confessions tag. Now this video has been making the rounds on YouTube lately because she filmed this about 3 weeks ago at this point, and I immediately wanted to participate when I saw it because I need some content for my channel, and I enjoy tags when I come across them and they seem like a lot of fun. So there are prompts to this tag, and I will leave them all in the description box below, and anyone can participate. It's open to everyone. If you have a channel or if you just want to share, I was not specifically tagged, but like I said, it seems like a lot of fun, and I love to go through my collection and look at my color pages, and a tag is a fun way to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first prompt to this tag is oldest book in your collection. Now, my people who are OG people know what this book is going to be, but I have a lot of new people, and welcome. I'm glad you subscribed. I hope you continue to enjoy my content. But the oldest book in my collection is going to be Alice in Wonderland by Fabiana Attanasio. This was the first adult coloring book that I purchased back in April of 2017 when I wanted to get into coloring as an adult, and I was working in retail at the time, very stressed out, and I just wanted something creative to start doing again, and coloring sprang to mind as my first creative thing to do other than like nails, because I was already doing nails. Alice in Wonderland by Fabiana Attanasio, and my book is very well loved because I have completed quite a few pages in this book. This was my starter book. I started with using a small set of Prismacolor that I had bought, and also Crayola colored pencils at the time, and then also I bought a small tin of ink tints as well, some glitter pens, I bought Posca, I bought the super tip Crayola markers, because I had done a bit of research before I completely dove into coloring and looked up color pencils, and Prismacolor was what everyone was talking about on YouTube when it came to coloring, and so that's what I bought first, other than just knowing Crayola from childhood, because this was done with a lot of Crayola. Specifically, I can see like what was done with Crayola, and yeah, I just fell in love. It was love at first pencil stroke for me, and yeah, I absolutely fell in love with coloring again, even though it never left me, because I've always colored here and there throughout my life, even as I became an adult, but I think I was using crayons. And I wish I could find the coloring book that I bought. I think it was like a fairy one or a Christmas one I had bought before this one, and it was a children's book on that crappy paper. But I don't have it anymore. But this was the one that I officially started to adult color with, and yeah, I absolutely love this book. I have another copy of this book that I have colored in as well, but I still think I will continue coloring in this, even with my skill set that has advanced from when I first started, just because I love this book so much. And yeah, I'm just showing you that it's very well loved. The page is falling out, and I colored this key here in the front. But yeah, that is my oldest book in my collection, Alice in Wonderland, Fabiana Attanasio. Next up is newest book you have bought. So I am not big into the mythographics. I love them. I think they're beautiful, and I'm glad some of my favorite artists like Fabiana Attanasio has a bunch of them. But my newest book is Mythographic Voyage by Joseph Kettenbang. Now, I ruminated on this book for quite a while. I saw it when it first came out, and I knew I wanted it, but I think about my books long and hard a lot of the time before I go ahead and take that leap to purchase. And it can be intimidating because there's a lot going on in these books, but yeah, this is my latest purchase. It's March 2025. I obviously have not colored much in it, but I have started this page here with the iridescent china, and yeah, I just wanted to take a swing at doing something fun, because I mean, this page can be quite repetitive with some of the same elements, and I try to think of new ideas sometimes to spruce up my coloring, and I don't know, I just had the idea to feel inspired to try this on this page. So yeah, this is the newest book to my collection. I only own 2 mythographic books, which is this one and Wild Winter, and I really do enjoy looking at all the completed pages from all of the books, but I'm very selective in the books that I purchase. And yeah, Voyage is one of the ones that I really like and I recently purchased. Okay, number 3, most colorful page you have completed. So I actually don't color a lot of colorful pages. Even when I first started to color, again, like I said, I watched a lot of YouTube and stuff, and I pretty much stuck to like 5 or so colors and just keep it cohesive. So sometimes colorful equates to vibrancy to me, or something of that nature. So one of the pages I have would be this one here, and it's from Minuet do Bono by Kanoko Agusa. And I would say this is one of the most colorful pages I've done, simply because, I mean, food, I always color food colors. So I don't stray far from that, but I just think the amount of colors that I did use in order to bring my food to life, and the animals and stuff, I don't know. I think it's very colorful. Maybe not, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I would definitely choose this page. And then another one, oh my gosh, another one I would choose is from Alice in Wonderland again, and I would pick this page right here. Surprise, surprise, is more food. But yeah, it may not be necessarily that colorful, but I think maybe I'm thinking about the background or something. But I don't keep like charts of how many pages I've colored, or what I've colored, and what books I've colored, and yada yada, because that feels like it's too much work to me. So I don't have like charts and graphs and stuff where I can refer to. This is just based on memory, and by memory, these 2 pages sprung to mind for that prompt. For number 5, we have most detailed / challenging book, and the one that without question sprang to mind was my Game of Thrones book. So it is this book here. It is the book based on the show from HBO. So the characters are drawn like the actors from the show. And this book by far is my most detailed and most challenging book, without a doubt. And I have done 2 in here so far. My first one was the picture of Brienne that I've done. And this is challenging because it's really drawn like the show. Like, it's kind of loosely interpreted for the backgrounds, a lot of it, but they really spot on did the characters exactly how they look. Like, look at this. This is some detailed stuff right here. Like, and I've seen some amazing work done because I follow the hashtag for a lot of my coloring books, and I've seen just fantastic work done in this book. And I mean, like, look at this. If this is not the most detailed and intimidating, I don't know what is. So another one that I've done in here, I've done the Hound, or Sandor Clegane, his actual name. And yeah, this is fun to do when I come and do the portraits and stuff. But I have yet to start like a landscape one or anything like that. I really want to color Oberyn, and Tyrion is one of my all-time favorite characters. But yeah, this book is definitely detailed and challenging. I mean, you can clearly see I really love this one. Like, I do want to tackle this one because I can refer to the scenes of the show and get the colors and stuff right if I so choose. So I think that's fun to do. But yeah, this definitely goes down as one of, and I have another pick for this as well. Another pick I have for this prompt is the Darius song, the Time Chamber book, because this book is very detailed. And not to repeat myself, but I've seen amazing work done in this book as well. This was one of the first couple of books that I got when I first started to adult color, and I've done a few in here. But yeah, this book, it has some not so intricate pictures, but then it has some intricate pictures, and I really love it. I just like to look at it even if I'm not coloring in it as much as I would like. But as far as the clockwork and things is where it gets really intricate, and you can see like where you have to do a lot of detail work and things. So yeah, that would be my pick for that one. When I was looking through my books, y'all, for this question, I also wanted to add for most unique art style, Lizzie Mary Cullen, simply because, I mean, if you see this type of artwork, you can automatically know if you're familiar with her work that this is a Lizzie Mary Cullen. And I recently watched a video by Colorful Artworks that explains one point perspective, and she talked about one point perspective, and how Lizzie Mary Cullen actually does follow those art rules of being a 1 point perspective, and everything is drawn to that perspective, but then she kind of exaggerates everything clearly, but it still follows those art rules. And I thought that was a fascinating video to watch, fascinating information for me to absorb and learn from. And yeah, I definitely would have to say that Lizzie Mary Cullen does have quite a unique art style, because there is absolutely nothing else like her art style that I have ever seen in my life. And I definitely wanted to add that. Whoops, I wanted to show one that I've done in the front. I definitely want to add that to this question. So yeah, how could I forget? I would definitely say Lizzie Mary Cullen. So I'm laughing at this, y'all, because I have 70 books in my coloring book collection. 72 if you count the 2 doubles that I have of books. But yeah, out of my 70 book collection, I try not to have dupes for these answers, but I think it's inevitable for me personally, so I have dupes for these answers, because for number 7, I have book I've colored in the most, and this is making an appearance again, because like I said, I don't keep data about how many pages I color and which books and things. I just go off of what I think when I think of these. And yeah, I think I've colored the most in my Alice in Wonderland book, because I just think I have, just based on me knowing the images that I've colored. I would definitely have to say this book. So I'm going to choose this book yet again for one of the answers. Next up, I have book you love but haven't colored in yet. I actually don't own any. All of my 70 books are colored in. So there we have that. So number 9 is book I would save in a fire, like a sentimental favorite. Honestly, y'all, if my house was on fire, God forbid, I would grab my Prismacolors. Like, I would try to grab my set of Prismacolor pencils. I wouldn't even grab a book. So even out of sentimentality, I don't even have a favorite book. I would grab my pencils. So number 10 is book with the best paper quality. So I would without a doubt say any of my Japanese coloring books. So for that, I would say, like, I just grabbed my Romantic Country, and I don't know if I think I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, I grabbed the wrong one. Hold on. So I would say any of my Japanese version books, because the paper is absolutely superior and it can handle water and all sorts of things, because I used a lot of my Supra color pencils that you activate with water on this page, and I had no issues. And in my English editions, they do not handle water at all very well. And so yeah, I would definitely say any of my Japanese version books. Next up, we have favorite grayscale coloring book. Now, I am not a fan of grayscale, y'all. I love it as an art to look at. It's beautiful. But personally, I don't like grayscale, because I just like to decide where my own shading goes. However, I do have some grayscale PDFs, and they're by one of my favorite artists, Mystic Art Maris, but I have a qualm about her grayscale, which I have spoken about before. However, I will share those thoughts once again, and not to be negative, but you know, my opinion. So here we go. So I have the Once Upon a Time coloring book. Allegedly, she said she was going to make a part 2, so that's why it's titled part 1. But this grayscale, I absolutely abhor, simply because she made their faces and the hair and the hands so dark with grayscale, and then you can barely see the background. Now, I printed my book on 2 different types of paper. I've printed it on Strathmore color pencil paper, which is almost white, and then I have also printed some on Strathmore tone tan paper. And for both versions, you can barely see the background because she did it so light, and then she did, like, look how dark their hands and faces are. I don't appreciate that, because then she later released line art, and I would have bought the line art had I known that was going to be an option. But yeah, the grayscale just is not done very well, and I've seen amazing grayscale before, and like, you can barely see the palace in the background of this one with Jasmine and Roger. Like, the grayscale is just not done very well. And then some of it's lighter if you look at her face, and then this is darker, and this is from the same book, y'all. That's why I'm like, yeah, her grayscale is not done very well. I did used to own another grayscale book by Alina Lazariva. I no longer have, but even just by being on Instagram and social media and things, I've seen grayscale, and yeah, it's beautiful as an art. I just don't want to color it. But I have colored some of these and I will continue to color them, but yeah, I'm not a fan of her grayscale, and I'm just not a fan of grayscale in general for me to color. So yeah, I don't have any favorites, but because I own a little, I thought I would share, and sorry for the glare on that, but we can move on to the next. Number 12, we have Book That Intimidates You, and the only one that I really can think of that is a silly reason for me to be intimidated by as well is Mythographic Wild Winter by Joseph Kattenbang. Now, I'm intimidated by this book because I am on Instagram, and I see just the most absolutely beautiful pages colored in this book through the years that it's been out, and I feel bad because it was a gift from my bestie, and I do really love this book. I did really want it when I got it, and yeah, I've just seen some beautiful pages colored in this book, and the only one that I started this one, and I started this maybe a couple of years ago at this point, y'all, or maybe, y'all want to say a couple years ago at this point, and I saw Mediana09 color this page, and when I saw her version, I just said, well, I give up. Mine will never look like that, and why should I even try? So, yeah, that's pretty much why I just don't finish this page right here, which is silly. I know I should just go ahead and finish it, but that's why I don't finish this page. And then I just seen some just breathtakingly gorgeous versions of pictures in this book, and it just puts me off. I don't want to color in mine. And yeah, even though I absolutely love this page, but yeah, that I'm very much intimidated by this book, and it is the winter season, and this book would be so appropriate to go ahead and color in, but yeah, I just don't. So yeah, that is the book that I have for that prompt. Next up is book you want to finish one day. I have a lot of books I would love to finish one day. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I hate to keep being repetitive, y'all, but I definitely would love to finish Alice in Wonderland, because this was, again, like I said, one of my first books that I ever got when I decided to adult color, and it would be quite a joy to finish it and just see my progress from when I started in this book up until whatever skill level I'm at whenever I'm able to complete the book. It would just be such a great thing to see. So I choose this one. So for number 14, we have best book for practicing new techniques. Now, I do not practice techniques in a specific book, so this is going to be a bit of a chaotic answer, but I will say I practice whatever, whenever, y'all. Like, I don't have a specific book. So when I thought of technique, I got really technical and was like, okay, so a technique that you do. So I did this technique in Romantic Country by Erie, where Always Coloring, bless her soul, who has passed now, she shared how she did a kind of stippling technique with ink tints, and I did that technique here on the rooftops of these houses. Another technique that I did was in this book. I don't know the title of it, but I ordered this on AliExpress, however you want to say it, and that's where I get all of these Chinese, Japanese coloring books from. And I tried the marbling technique on this dress for this image, but I probably will never ever come back to that page. My book has yellowed because it's old, y'all. I've had this for quite a while, and I think, again, I always say, I think it's what they treat the paper with. It does not affect coloring quality. But this was when I first got into trying washi tape for clothing, and I did this technique in this book because it was a lot of open space and it was easy to try on these type of images. So that was when I first got into doing that, like years ago. And I have quite a few ladies that I have done that technique on in this book. And so yeah, I've done that in this book. And then lastly, a technique that I try out is in Cinderella by Fabiana Artanasio, and I tried the dry paintbrush technique for creating this wall texture back here. So I try techniques in all of my books, all of my PDF pages. Like, whatever I'm feeling inspired to do to try a technique, I just do it on that page in that book or what have you. So yeah, that is my answer for number 14. Okay, so next up I have number 15, and it's kind of the same as number 10, to be honest, because number 10 is book with the best paper quality, and then number 15 is most affordable but great quality book. I don't know. To me, that's the same thing. But yeah, so this one is technically supposed to be most affordable but great quality, and I will pick Sirenet du Monde by Diane Dufour simply because this book handles water like nobody's business. Like, I mostly use ink tints and stuff in this book, and it's one-sided, so you don't have to worry about that too. But I put so much water on this page, y'all, and like, it's not bad for it crinkling or for anything soaking through the paper. Like, it didn't soak through. So yeah, I definitely will pick this book. Now, I think I paid maybe like $17 for this book on Amazon, and I think that's pretty affordable because I know books can get crazy. But yeah, I definitely would pick this one for an affordable book, but that also has great quality paper. Number 16 is book you recommend to beginners. Now, I will definitely, without a doubt, have to say, get you a Lulu Mail book. Like, Lulu Mail books are so beginner friendly to me simply because the illustrations aren't complicated. You can create fun backgrounds, and it's a lot of open space for you to be able to do that in her books. And then, like I said, the imagery isn't too tiny where you can't see it. It's a good size where you're not straining to figure out what's going on. They're not complicated, like I said, and I think they will be really good for beginners to get their hands in and just maybe familiar from your childhood, her illustrations, because they are a bit, I don't want to say childlike, but they are a bit, and I think that makes it easy for you. Another recommendation I could say for books I would recommend to beginners would definitely be any of the Fabiana Attanasio books, if you could get your hands on them from her doing these fairy tale type of books. I say this because her illustrations, again, I don't want to use childlike, but they are reminiscent to our childhood coloring books where the imagery is kind of big, you know, they're not too complicated where you're struggling to figure out what's what, and you have, like, you know, some open space to play with the backgrounds if you so choose. And I definitely would say Fabiana Attanasio, one of these type of books in this series, because it's just straightforward and they're fun. So I definitely will pick those. On to number 17, which is book that sparks your creativity. Now, this one, I have to say, kind of a cheat, where I feel like all of my books spark my creativity, hence why I'm coloring in them. That's a cheat answer, but I will say I don't have a specific book that sparks my creativity. I think me just coloring and being creative in general is sparking my creativity, but I do have some examples. So first example will be this. This is from, I think it's from Cute and Creepy. I no longer have that book, but it's by Camilla Derrico, and this page sparked my creativity in that book because just how the image was drawn, it conjured up my imagination to think of maybe she's a mad scientist creating Pokemon in her lab, and I drew the Ghastly and the Haunter Pokemon in this picture. So this, just the way, well, just the theme of the picture sparked my creativity to do that one. So this is from a Misfits book that I no longer own by White Stag, and when I first saw this page, my imagination just thought of, for some reason, zombie Regina George from the movie Mean Girls, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I drew her to look like Regina George, and then I also drew like the lacrosse net, because, spoiler, if you've never seen that movie, at the end of the movie she joins the lacrosse team. It's not that much of a spoiler, but yeah, I don't know, I just thought of that for that one. And then another one I would say that sparked my creativity is this page here, and it again is from, sorry, I got interrupted. This again is from a Misfits book, and I no longer have the book, but when I saw how this page was drawn, I don't know, I automatically thought of like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, and like her being beheaded. So, well, she was holding her head, and so I drew in Jack and I drew in Zero in the background. And I don't know, I would say more so an image sparks my creativity, if I could really think about it, more so than a book. So yeah, that just shows I have a wide array of ideas for like all of my books. So yeah, I would definitely have to say, well, pick those as like some of my most creative pages for this question as to the book that sparks my creativity. I don't know if that really is a cheat or not, but that's what I've got. So yeah. On to number 18, most nostalgic or childhood inspired book, and without a doubt that would definitely be this book here. It's Nickelodeon, the Splat coloring book. Yes, my book has yellow because it's old as dirt, y'all. And yeah, I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. And yeah, so this book is very nostalgic to me because I grew up looking at Nickelodeon and also Cartoon Network. I can't forget Cartoon Network. And they have a coloring book, but I don't have that one because it didn't look that appealing to me. But yeah, I definitely grew up looking at Nickelodeon. Rugrats and Hey Arnold are two of my all-time favorite cartoons ever in life. And so I did start this one with marker and tried to layer over it with color pencil. But I have found from my personal experience that I struggle on this paper. It's really smooth and it doesn't like a lot of stuff. So yeah, I've done this one to completion with mostly marker and some polychromo shading on this page. But yeah, this paper is just rough for me to try to work with. And I split the spine because I was going to color this one year on my birthday. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. I used to love All Real Monsters. When you think about it, this cartoon was so gross, y'all, but like I really did love it. I just love all of the cartoons that they featured in here, especially the Rugrat ones. But yeah, and I actually tried to mess around and see what works best in this book. And I'm not a marker person per se, so yeah, I don't know, but I keep it mostly out of nostalgic purposes, y'all, and that is the Splat. And I do want to come back and try to see how I fare coloring in this again, but definitely my pick for most nostalgic. Next up is book with the most variety in pages, and without a doubt I thought of Konako Agusa, and I will pick any of her books, but I just grabbed this one, and this is Symphony of Cute Animals. I definitely choose this because even though it's mostly centered around anthropomorphic animals, I will say this has the most variety in pages because you get cute little postcards that are sized differently than the full size pages, and the animals are just always in different settings. And often her books goes through the seasons as well. So you not only have the animals being in different situations, you also have seasonal as well. And this goes through food. I mean, you can even do like metals often in her books and practice that. You can practice nighttime, daytime. Like I said, you can practice seasons. You can practice all types of textures of furs and feathers because her book has so many different animals. Yeah, this is another one that I've done. And this page alone has so many different textures and surfaces that you can practice on. So I definitely would choose any one of Konoko's books for this prompt because, like I said, it's just a variety of different textures and things that you can do throughout her book and never get bored because everything changes like for the season and the situation that the animals are in, and it's just beautiful anyway because I definitely love her artwork. She's one of my top 5 artists, and you can never get bored if you have a book by her, like, to me, in my opinion, because for those reasons that I previously stated. So yeah, I definitely will pick Konoko. Okay, so number 20, we have seasonal favorite, and I'm not a seasonal colorist per se. I color by mood, so I color what I want when I want. However, I do often color Christmas, during Christmas, or Christmas in July. And so a seasonal favorite I have technically 2. So one would be The Magical Christmas by Lizzie Mary Cullen. I absolutely love this book, y'all. I don't own very many Christmas books, but this definitely is one of my favorite ones because I just love how fun everything is and so festive, and how she was just able to draw like so many different time periods even for Christmas. Like this is like a Tudor Christmas and stuff. Like you don't see that very often. And even just some of the, I don't want to say, what is it, themes, I guess themes, because even this is like winter solstice, so it's like the spring bunny and the some, I don't know, summer moon, I don't know what it is. That's how I interpret it, y'all. But yeah, I've just, even like ballets and stuff for Christmas, I've just not seen a book like this. And so I definitely would say this is my all-time, or one of my all-time favorite Christmas books that I own for the season that I would pick because it's fun. And I've done quite a few in here, and I absolutely love my double page Naked Santa picture that I did. And I actually took years to finish this because I finished the building one year, got put off by everything and got confused. And then I came back to it years later and, kind of, I don't want to say fixed, but I kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Enhanced or whatever the building and stuff to update it to my coloring skills now. And then I went ahead and finished the rest of the page, and I'm glad that I did that. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, clearly, as you can tell. But yeah, I definitely will pick the Magical Christmas as a seasonal favorite. I also can't leave out A Whimsy Girl's Christmas by Hannah Lynn, and I really love this book. I just love to look through it even if I'm not coloring in it every season because it's just so cute. So I've done quite a few, but I've done a few, I'll say, in this book, and I've enjoyed each one. And the first one that I ever did was this one right here, which was a buddy color with my bestie, and I absolutely love this one, and I had fun doing different Christmas colors. So yeah, I really love this book for the winter or Christmas in July often as I grab for this book. I love this book for that, and I will pick this one. So those will be my seasonal favorites because more often than not I'm coloring Christmas versus any other season, like more so than like Halloween season and stuff like that. Even though I will say, I think for fall, I will say Kaneko Agusa is my seasonal favorite for fall, and I will show some of those pictures that I've done as well. Give me one sec. Like for fall, I would pick like Symphony of Cute Animals simply because I've done two of my best autumn fall pages I think I've ever done, which are these two. I absolutely love them, and I think she draws fall like so beautifully. Like, look at this. This is gorgeous, and you could tell that clearly Halloween and stuff, like it's the fall season. So even in this book alone, it's so much beautiful fall. So yeah, I would pick this one for my fall seasons. So yeah, I would pick those, like Christmas and fall type season are my seasonal favorites for my coloring versus any other season. I don't know if that properly answers the question, but that's how I'm gonna roll. That's how I'm gonna roll on my on my coloring confessions tag, y'all. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. On to number 21, most whimsical or fun book. These two are different for me because fun is different, like what I had fun most in versus like my whimsical situation. But I will just choose my most whimsical book. I think would be like any Lulu Mail book because she draws animals and they're just in fun situations and like dream-like situations, and I think is very fun, and they're drawn so cute and with such character. Like, look at him, even like look at them and smiling and stuff, and like I don't know, it's just so fun, the situations that she draws her animal characters in. Like, look at them kissing on top of the building, so cute. So yeah, I would pick a Lulu Mayo for this question simply because I think her artwork suits that so well for the most whimsy and fun, and it just makes me laugh looking at how some of the animals are in these situations, like being washed and stuff. It's so cute. And yeah, I've done one in here, and I think this was the first Lulu Mayo book I got. I think it was the bears, because I had bears, sloths, mermaids, dogs, and the million magical creatures, if I'm not leaving any out. And I think this was the very first one that I got. So yeah, I definitely will pick this one for most whimsical or fun book. For number 22, it is most realistic or nature inspired book. And again, this is a two-pronged question, but for me, I can't pick anyone other than Kaneko Agusa's work for most nature inspired books. And I mean, you can pick anyone you like for this one. I think her artwork absolutely encompasses every season, because she does winter, spring, summer, fall, and she does the animals. Even though they're doing human things, they also are drawn sometimes in their like natural settings, if you want to say. Like, you know, you have the animals in the forest quite often in her books, and then it's one in Leon's journey that I really like, and it sticks to mine, and it's like an ocean one, and I just want to get to it really quick because it's really cute. It may be like more so in the summer one, but yeah, you even have like, you know, the horse in the stable and stuff. So it's very nature inspired. Like, you have the mushrooms and everything. So definitely, if you like nature, I would recommend some Kaneko's work. Like, look at this. This is very nature inspired with all the cacti and everything. And here's the one I'm thinking of. Like, I love this one with the bunnies by the lighthouse. But yeah, it's very nature inspired because she also does aquatic life, like as you can see here, and it's often featured in her book, like even snails and stuff. So yeah, very much nature inspired when you come to Kunako's work, and it's beautiful. I just can't stress enough like how much I absolutely like love her artwork. So that's one that I've done as well. So yeah, I will pick that one for that prompt. Okay, last but not least, y'all, we are at number 23, and it is book you have ignored the longest. She put uncolored, but again, I have to stress I don't have any uncolored books in my collection, to the disappointment or dismay to some, but to me, I'm very happy about that fact. Yeah, I will pick some books that I have ignored the longest that I got at the beginning, or kind of, well, yeah, I will say at the beginning of my coloring journey, which are my two Daria Song books. And they are The Time Chamber and The Night Voyage. Now, I got these books at the very beginning of my coloring journey. Like I said, I think one of these was in the top 10 books that I ever purchased when I first started to adult color. And as you can see, I used to color in this book quite often when I got it, especially this one. I think I've done the most pages in, I'm pretty sure, because I got one back here, I think where, or maybe in the other book where my page fell out because I colored in it a lot. I don't think it's this one. It may be The Night Voyage. But like I said, I definitely don't reach for these books at all very much now these days. And I don't know why, because I think the illustrations are gorgeous and I love the theme and the stories of these books. But I just don't reach for them. And I don't know why, because I don't find one as daunting as the other. Surprisingly as that sounds, but yeah, I don't know. And Coloring with Alina does such beautiful work in these books, and it definitely kind of inspires me, semi inspires me to want to come back to these books. But I mean, I will not ever be able to color them as beautiful as she's done. And everyone and their great grandma has done this page. And then I absolutely love this one. I just want to color her face and then probably her hair and then maybe a gear because I like to color metal. And then I probably will be over this page. But I definitely love this page. It lives rent free in my mind all the time to want to come back to. And as you can see, if you can see that very well, like my pages have yellowed because I've had this book like so long. Like I really have. And I've had both of them for so long because I can't remember which one I bought first. But yeah, once I bought the one, I bought the other, and these weren't very popular when I started coloring, but I did used to see glimpses and glances of these, and I don't know, I don't even know how I even discovered it or whatever the case may be. I'm glad I did though, because I do love to own both of these books. But yeah, these are definitely books that I've ignored the longest out of all the books, I will say, in my 70 book collection. So if you have reached the end, leave me a crayon emoji, y'all. I had so much fun doing this tag, and I appreciate Shell's Coloring Journey for coming up with this concept. It's so fun, and it has been making the rounds on YouTube, and I've been watching so many of them. I'm so happy and excited to watch them because I love to see colored pages and other people's collections. So like I said, leave me a crayon emoji if you made it to the end. I greatly appreciate you subscribing and watching my content, and everyone who's been here, even though my content is far and few between these days. I feel so bad about it because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers and I'm like not putting anything out, and I just appreciate you if you watch. So thank you so much for coming to my channel today. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please stay safe out here, y'all. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Hey y'all, this is Editing KP here, and goofy me, I thought I was recording this part and I did not. And it happens more often than you think if you film stuff where you think you are recording and you definitely are not. So I actually missed out on prompt number 4. I'm just having such a laugh at myself. Number 4 is most relaxing book to color in. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Anyway, after it took me 2 hours to edit this, now I have to edit it again. But anyway, most relaxing book to color in, which would be Fiercely Gorgeous. Now this book is by Evelyn Liza, and this book is my most relaxing book to color in simply because it is just faces and portraits, or whatnot, and you get 2 copies of each in this book. And it's easy for me to color because I love to color skin. Those who are familiar with my favorite things that I like to color. And so yeah, it's easy for me to just jump in this book and color skin. And I've had so much fun doing a couple of these. I haven't done very many, but I've done quite a few, and it's always fun when I come in this book and I can work on all different types of skin tones because none of my ladies look the same. It's always fun for me to think up which colors I can use for all my different skin tones so that I'm not constantly repeating myself, and I can even do fantasy skin or just whatever I want here, and I don't have to focus on the background because a strategy that I've come up with is to just use a flat color in the background and then just kind of color around the character or the person or the lady or what have you. So yeah, and it's fun to just do that, and then I can always use washi tape or draw in some cases like I did here and here for their clothing. So yeah, this book is definitely one of my most relaxing, and I just absolutely love to color in this book. And I'm surprised I haven't finished it yet, but I want to do that one day too as well. But anyway, yeah, that's prompt number 4. Totally goofed, and hope you enjoy this bonus clip.